Hey, have you ever wondered why some countries seem to be best friends, while others not so much? Or how something that happens on the other side of the planet can actually affect your daily life? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on all of that. We're talking about a country's game plan for the world, foreign policy.
Okay, so let's think about it like this. Imagine the entire world is just one giant school, and every single country, it's a student in that school. So, how do they all get along? I mean, who do they decide to be friends with? Who do they trade their lunch with? And what happens when they have a disagreement out on the playground? That's exactly what we're diving into.
But you might be thinking, why should I care? Well, it's because these big global relationships actually have a huge impact on your world, for real. They can affect the price of your favorite video games, the kind of movies you see streaming, and, this is the big one, they're what helps keep our world a safe and peaceful place.
All right, so to really get this, the first thing we need to understand is that every country kind of lives by two different sets of rules. There's one set for everything happening inside its own borders, and a whole other set for how it deals with everybody else. So here's a super simple way to picture it. Think about domestic policy. That's like your family's house rules, you know? Stuff like when you have to do your chores or what time your bedtime is. It only applies inside your house. But foreign policy, that's like how your family decides to get along with the neighbors. You know, agreeing not to blast music super late, or maybe helping out the family next door if they need something.
So when we say foreign policy, what are we really talking about? Well, at its heart, it's a country's official game plan for the world. It's the list of goals and the strategies it uses to deal with other countries on everything, from making deals about trade to working together to keep everyone safe.
Now, inside this big game plan, there are a couple of key terms you'll hear. The first one is a fancy-sounding phrase, bilateral relations, but don't worry, it's easy. Bi just means two, so this is just a one-on-one relationship between two countries. Think of it like having one best friend. Simple as that.
And then on the other hand, you've got multilateral relations. Multi, as you can probably guess, means many. This is when 3 or 4 or even dozens of countries all team up to work on something big together. It's kind of like a huge group project at school where everyone has to cooperate.
Okay, so if foreign policy is a country's game plan, then what tools do they have to actually make it happen? Let's take a look at what's inside their foreign policy toolkit.
So, every country has a few main tools they can use. First up, and most important, is diplomacy. This is just talking. You know, leaders and experts sitting down, negotiating, and making agreements. Now, if talking isn't quite enough, they might use economic tools. This can be a good thing, like offering a great trade deal, or it can be a punishment, like cutting off trade. Then, of course, they can form alliances, teaming up with other countries. And then way down the list, as a total last resort, when absolutely everything else has failed, there's military action.
Okay, so all of those tools we just talked about, they can basically be sorted into two different kinds of power or influence. And this is a really important idea to get.
So let's break it down. On one hand, you have what's called hard power. This is pretty much what it sounds like, using force or pressure. We're talking about the military or tough economic punishments. The easiest way to think of it is like forcing someone to share their lunch with you. But then you have soft power, which is the total opposite. This is about being so cool and influential through your music, your movies, your ideas, that other countries just want to be your friend. They want to share their lunch with you. No force necessary.
And honestly, you see examples of soft power all around you. I mean, think about how K-pop has taken over the world, or how everyone loves to watch big Hollywood movies, or even how famous universities get students from all over the globe to come and study. See, when a country's culture and ideas are really popular and admired, it gives them this amazing influence, and that's a really powerful thing.
All right, so let's bring this all back down to earth with a real-world example. How does a big country like India actually use all these ideas? Let's take a peek at their foreign policy game plan.
So a really big piece of India's strategy is something they call the Neighborhood First policy. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. They make it a top priority to have good, peaceful relationships with the countries that are their direct neighbors. I mean, it makes sense, right? If your neighborhood is friendly and stable, it's better for everyone.
And this whole policy is driven by a really powerful idea, expressed in the phrase Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or Sabka Vishwas. Now, what that basically means is growth and trust for everyone. The big idea here is that as India grows, it wants its neighbors to grow and succeed right alongside it. It's all about partnership.
But it's not just about the immediate neighbors. India also has what's called an Act East policy. and this one is all about building stronger friendships and connections with countries in Southeast Asia. Think of it like building a bridge to connect with an even wider group of friends.
Whew, okay, that was a lot of info, I know. So how about we do a super quick, fun little quiz to see what you remember. You ready? Let's do it.
Okay, first question. The rules for how a country runs things inside its own borders are those called A, foreign policy, or B, domestic policy.
If you said B, domestic policy, you got it. Yep. Just remember, domestic is like your home, your domain. Foreign is everything outside. All right, next up, think about a military alliance where countries team up to protect each other. Is that an example of hard power or soft power? That one is hard power. Absolutely, because it's all about military strength and official agreements. It's definitely on the force side of things.
Okay, last one for you. When it's just two countries working together on something, what do we call that relationship? Is it A, bilateral, or B, multilateral?
The answer is A, bilateral relationship. Remember the trick? Bi means two, just like a bicycle has two wheels. And multi means many. See? Easy.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that foreign policy might sound like a really complicated topic, but it's not. It's really just about how a country decides to build relationships, to stay safe, to do well, and just to find its place in this big, amazing, connected world. It's how we all try to get along. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today.